When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're the home of the #1 checkout on the planet and the not-so-secret Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds and Skims use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/start selling, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/start selling to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/start selling.
She needs to do a podcast since she never got her due. She's a big lesbian and a loudmouth Jew. With a gasket always ready to blow, you're listening to Judy's show. Who? Judy's show. Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Oh, she's an asshole. What is wrong with you? Oh, you suck. So long. Fuck off. Hey everyone, welcome to Kill Me Now with Judy Gold. I'm your host, Judy Gold, and this week we have part 2 of my conversation with the one and only Robin Tyler. This is a 3-parter. She is an icon. The stories are just amazing. I know a lot of people enjoyed part 1, so you'll really enjoy part 2 and part 3. Let me tell you about my gigs, and then I'll go into my diatribe about what the fuck is going on in this world. So tonight, I have the Israel Cancer Research Fund benefit, and it is a cocktail party benefit. And I just want to say, Islam, is that this is one of the points I try to make about Israel, is that here we have the Israel Cancer, all right, let's just say cancer does not discriminate. It enters the body. It doesn't care what your religion is, what your opinions are, who you are. It is the devil, okay? And this Israel Cancer Research Fund is an amazing organization on the cusp of research to find a cure for cancer, not just for the Jews, okay? For everyone. For the world. It's called Healing the World, Tikkun Olam. And, you think about it, this is what Israel does. I know I'm being annoying with the way I'm saying Israel, but this is what Israel does. It contributes to the rest of the world, or the betterment of the rest of the world. And, it's just, you try to say to these fucking anti-Semites, you know what? Poo, if you get cancer, then you can't use the research that Israel, since you hate Israel and you hate Jews and you hate everything we do and you don't think we should exist, then guess what? You don't get to use the benefits, or you don't get to use well, I don't know what the word benefits, but you don't get to benefit from all the stuff Israel has, accomplished and done to help make your water clean. Make your GPS work, all the medical and engineering, and oh, please, it goes on and on and on. So I will be at the Harmony Club tonight, which is October 29. I will be at the Harmony Club for the Israel Cancer Research Fund, Cocktails for a Cure. It's going to be really fun. Okay, so that's that. Let's see the Big Gay Cabaret. The Big Gay Cabaret in Chicago. I'm going to be in Chicago November 8, 9, and 10. That's the Big Gay Cabaret. And I'm excited, although there is a comedy festival in Chicago that weekend, and I'm just playing in a small room. So come see me. Come see me. Come see me. I'm very excited about November 4th because I'm going to Penn State to see Ben play. They start their season, and Ben came and visited for the weekend. So it was he came as a little surprise for his girlfriend Samantha's birthday, and I got to hang out with Henry and his girlfriend Sophie, and Ben and his girlfriend Samantha and Elisa, and we carved pumpkins, and it was fantastic. So I love my family. I love them so much. Nothing better than hanging out with them. So yeah, so I have that. And then on November 13, I am, there's a show, well, it's at the Hard Rock, but it's a show, it's about Gilbert Gottfried, who I loved so much. Me, Susie Essman, I don't know, Jeff Ross is on it. I think it's a whole bunch of, maybe Jeff Ross isn't on it, who the fuck knows, but it's a whole tribute to Gilbert. And then I have some Barbie show after that, late at night. I don't know where the hell that is. New York Comedy Club on East 4th Street, which is going to be fucking annoying to get down to, but I'll do it. Poughkeepsie, November 16th, Poughkeepsie, New York. Laugh It Up Comedy Club. Ha, 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 ha. In Poughkeepsie, New York. The Weitzman. The NCAC Gala on November 19th, which is the National Coalition Against Censorship. I am on the board of it, and we are honoring a bunch of people. My contribution was, submitting Noam Dworman's name, who is the owner of the comedy club, for the entertainment award, and he's getting it on November 19th. National Coalition Against Censorship, NCAC. Weitzman in Philadelphia, the Weitzman National Museum of American Jewish History on November 21st. I mean, I'm a Jew. And then the 22nd, listen, Floridians who are always like, when are you coming to Florida? When are you coming to Florida? I'm in Aventura on the 22nd, and I'm at the Boca Black Box in Boca Raton on the 23rd. Okay? So get your asses there. That's what I need for you to do. Yeah, so that's that. Those are my dates. My birthday's November 15th, right in the middle of that. And I think Elise is taking me to do something. I kind of think I know what it is, but I don't. Yeah, I pretty much know. And I'm a baby about my birthday. I just want everyone to wish me a happy birthday. And then, you get depressed after because you're like, oh, it's not my birthday anymore. But who the fuck cares? Anyway, I'm so old. So that's that. I want to really, I just want to say my trip to Israel was very meaningful. The audiences, as I mentioned, so appreciative to the, just saying thank you. And, we needed to laugh. And it's so nice to not be gaslit. And to be in a place where, these people want peace. They want peace. They don't want this war. A lot of them can't stand Netanyahu and his policies. But they're fighting for their existence. This is an existential threat. They also attacked Iran or Iran. They've also been fighting for all of us, for the world, so that we don't have Sharia law. And that these misinformed people who have no nuance in their message and don't even realize what would happen to this world if Israel didn't exist, and what would happen to them if Israel didn't exist, and their families. It's so upsetting. Just to see people brainwashed. And speaking of brainwashed and cults, the Trump rally in Madison Square Garden yesterday was so disgusting. As a comedian, and I could say as a woman comedian, a female comedian, as a comedian who's also part of the LGBTQIA+ community, I've listened to such disgusting rhetoric. I've seen behavior that is just abhorrent, off stage, on stage, whatever. But they're comedians. It's from comedians with no power. This disgusting excuse for a human being who has just put women in danger, yes, is a fascist, is dumb, that his right-wing conservative cabinet members and others who have worked for him are warning us, don't do this. They don't love Kamala Harris. Liz Cheney doesn't agree with Kamala Harris's policies, but she believes in democracy, and he is a threat to democracy. And when I walk to a gig and I see a big sign that says, all Jews must vote for Trump. No, not all Jews must vote for. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me who I must vote for. I am a woman. I hear stories every day, as do you, of women dying, bleeding, not being able to get the health care they deserve, treated like criminals, doctors treated like criminals. This is, are you fucking crazy? This is like one step down from Sharia law. And the fact that I know and was surprised to find out some people that I know went to this rally. And I got really sad because it's one thing. Sad, I think it's sad. I got sad and I was physically ill because as someone who has spent their entire adult life fighting for the rights of others, who has been at not every march, but a lot of marches, a lot of the AIDS walk, the AIDS ride, the equality march, the women's rights march, like the Planned Parenthood this, Planned Parenthood that, anti-Semitism, Black Lives Matter, women, children's, everything. It made me sad as an activist. Because it's one thing to go into a voting booth and vote for who you want, and no one knows, and you have your reasons, your pocketbook, you're an angry white man, and you feel like you're being erased. Okay, that's one thing that you're fine with racist rhetoric. You're fine with women not having health care because you have money, and you'll find a way. If your child needs an abortion, you'll find a way to, make that happen. It's one thing to go in that voting booth and vote for who you want and not tell anyone. It's another thing to go to a rally and listen to this disgusting talk and speech and hate and, that is, after we go and assemble and go to and march and meet and walk and run and do whatever we have to do and protest and picket and whatever we do. And that's where you show up. That is where you show up to listen to some fucking disgusting excuse for a human being and his cronies spew horrible rhetoric, lies. And it's funny. Ha 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 ha. It's so funny. It's not funny. It's dangerous. And no one, for a lot of these people, and yes, there are a lot of Jews there, and there's a lot of Jews, Trump, Trump, Trump. I am not one of them. I am not one of them. But that's where you show up. And if you haven't, have I said this before, had anyone stand or march, stand in front of the Supreme Court, or march down a street, in march on Washington or anywhere, to fight for your rights, where someone has to fight for your dignity and your equality, you don't show up for that. But you show up to listen to this fucker who hates democracy, who just wants power, who is a narcissist, who is a felon, who behaves like a fucking 2-year-old full of grievance, promoting a lie, a big lie, just spewing just lie after lie after lie. Oh, she's low IQ. You're fucking low IQ. This is the shit you want to listen to? I don't. It is so fucking angry making for me. It's infuriating. If you have a relative who is female, who is gay, who is trans, who is Puerto Rican, who benefited from DACA. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on. And you're okay? Who's a woman? Who's a victim of sexual assault or incest or rape or anything? And you're okay with this? Bye-bye. I can't. So it's just really sad when you work to try to make the world a better place, and then this behavior is okay. So that's my point. That's mine. And if you're voting for Trump, God bless you. You have your reasons. And, Godspeed. But I can't. And I can't condone that fucking behavior. And if you think that the way this man behaves is good for our country, that represents our country, if you go to another country and you mention his name, they think he's they're like, what happened? What happened? What is going on there? And you're okay with that. But have a nice night. Take care. So that's my thing. So now we're going to listen to Robin Tyler. I mean, I have more and more I could say. And I really want to talk about how meaningful my trip to Israel was, and just the shows and the acknowledgement that there are 101 hostages still there. And that it doesn't mean that you want the war to continue, that no one wants this war to continue. So, this fucking from the river to the sea, fuck you. You don't even know what river, what sea. We've said, just shut the fuck up, you dumb shits. Anyway, so that's it. I thought that was a great, positive intro. I know it's long, but I've been quite affected by what's going on in this country. So, and especially being in another country. So no better person to hear speak about fighting for equal rights, dignity, equality. Yeah, I said equal rights and then I said equality because I'm losing my mind. So just sit back and relax if you can, and enjoy part 2 of my conversation with the one, the only, the icon, Robin Tyler. What was the comedy scene like, or were you not paying attention to the comedy scene during that time?
I wasn't paying attention to the comedy scene. Remind me, I want to go on about when I worked at the Comedy Store, but I want to say one thing. One day I was on stage, and I looked to stage right. I had always gone to New York because I heard every woman looked like Audrey Hepburn, every lesbian. That's what I thought. I had seen Breakfast at Tiffany's, and I thought, oh my God, if this is New York, I'm going to meet Audrey Hepburn. So I look at stage right, and there is Pat sitting there, Pat Harrison, and her haircut, she looked just like Audrey Hepburn. And I went off stage and I said, I want you to know I'm in love with you and I'm going to marry you. Her lover did not take it well.
That's funny.
She hit her. There was you didn't clap. You had little bongers.
Right.
She hit her with the bonger. But I ended up with Patty. I ended up with her, and I left. I didn't leave the 82 Club. After about a couple of years there, they let me go.
This was the place you were doing your show.
I was doing I said, why are you doing that? They said, because you're very good and you don't have to stay here all your life. If you stay here, you'll be here
stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, you're stuck. And I was so disappointed. I said, I don't want to go. And they said, you have to go. You'll have a career. Not with my voice, but I was a great female impersonator, but I wasn't a great singer. I was just, if I could hit a loud note. But I moved in with Patty, and who was a high fashion model, and I went on the road and began to be a singer, like in Ohio, Akron, Stripper and Me on the bill in Akron, Ohio, in the winter. Not good.
Right.
I'm yelling at you now because did you have to do this? Akron in the shit.
Oh, horrible. I once went to Winnipeg in the fucking middle of winter, and it was my birthday, and you couldn't go outside. You had to plug your car in.
Yes.
And it was and I was in this restaurant, and I just wanted to fucking kill
Town and Country?
No, it was Rumor. No, was it Rumor? No, I don't know what the hell.
I don't know. It's the 90s. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I remember so many staying in motels.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not feeling safe at all, but just wanting to get on stage for a half an hour, 45 minutes,
I'm going to go back to when I was in New York. I was very poor, and I was looking in a window at a gingerbread house that I couldn't afford. And this guy in a limousine pulls up, huge limo, and he gets out and he's looking at it with me, and he said, what would you like? I'll get you anything you like. He meant an apartment.
Right.
And I said, really? I'd like the gingerbread house, So he got me the gingerbread house, and his name was Joe Glazer. And he was the head of ABC booking. He actually used to be, in his old life, he was the bookkeeper for Capone or somebody. But he was now the head of ABC, who had Lena Horne, who had big acts. So, and Joe, I guess, liked to go to bed with lesbians. But when he talked to me and found out I was he liked scenes, I guess.
Right.
So when he talked to me, if I was this innocent kid from Winnipeg, Jewish, never came on to me. And so I met Joe Glazer. So when I met Patty, so Joe was the one that booked me out in Ohio or whatever. And Patty came with me, and the band couldn't cut my music and read my charts. So she started to heckle me, why don't you take up singing? And I began to answer back, and the audience began to laugh. And it wasn't that it was that funny, but they laughed at two women bickering at each other, right?
And a spark went off.
Yeah, spark went off. Go back. And we said, we're going to become a comedy team. And we go to Joe Glazer. He said, great. And he would have said great to anything to me, love me. And so we got pictures taken. But we were going to become a singing, Robin and Rachel Tyler. We couldn't say Harrison and Tyler because they might have thought we were gay. So we had to say we were a sister act. Now, she's a high fashion Vogue model, and I'm a Jew from Winnipeg, right? You think we look like sisters, So we go on the road together, and we realize we don't have an act. So we decide to drive to Los Angeles and to try to break into television where you don't need an act. You just need a relationship.
Right.
So we get in the car and we drive across the country, and I get lost. I don't know, somehow I ended up in Arizona, and it was really hard. But we finally found Los Angeles, but it took 2 days longer than it should have. And our car broke down on Beechwood Drive. So I rented an apartment, and we had no money left, And, but we got to LA. So I said, so we went and we ran into another comic, and they said, if you're a comic, you can go and get Anchor Hawking glassware and go sell it. They'll give it to you if you're a comic so you can make some money. So we went and picked up this glassware, and they assigned us to Watts. We didn't know what
And you had to go door to door?
No, you open the car,
Oh, right.
And you sell out of the car.
Right,
so Patty and I, we didn't know what Watts was. So all of a sudden people started to come. Oh, we said, look at all these customers coming toward us. They weren't coming toward us as customers. So this black woman said, what are you doing here? And we explained we're comics, and they gave us Watts. So she stayed with us and helped us sell the stuff and protected us. And we actually made a little bit of money. We went on food stamps for a couple of weeks, and then we got a job at Jack LaLanne selling, whatever. And somehow we made it to Los Angeles and became a comedy team. And we got on the Tomorrow Show with, what's his name that did it? He was the most boring guy in the world. Who did the Tomorrow Show? Anyway, he couldn't interview.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Snyder.
Yeah.
All right. He couldn't interview, so Patty and I started to fight. We had a thing where if somebody couldn't talk to us, so we started to fight. Who was watching the Tomorrow Show? Fred Silverman, from the head of ABC.
Right.
You're right. My whole life has been filled with Jews.
See?
Oh, my God. So he calls us down to his office. No, so somebody called us, said, Fred Silverman wants to see us. So we go down, and he says, you girls, and we didn't correct him to say women.
Right.
You're fabulous. I'm going to make you stars, like a man could make us stars. Like men deliver our babies. They don't deliver them. They receive them. We deliver them. Right? Did a doctor deliver your baby, or did you deliver it and he received it?
I delivered it.
Yeah. So I'm going to make you stars. And I said, well, Mr. Silverman, we're lesbians. We're gay. He said, that doesn't matter. A lot of people in show business are gay. Just don't tell anyone, right? So we sign a contract with ABC, and we start working around LA, but we start doing feminist material.
So you signed the contract for the show, but
Yeah.
then started working out your stuff in the clubs?
No, we didn't work in the clubs. We worked at the women's building. We started to do it for other women, like.
But you were honing this act, right?
Yes.
But you knew you had this deal.
Yes.
Wow.
No, we got there in 1970, and it was 4 years that we were working around as a feminist comedy team. No. And we were brilliant. We did stuff like, this is in the 1970s. We did isn't this attractive? And I'm grabbing my crotch.
Right.
Baby, this isn't, nobody did that material.
Of course.
And do women, do we go, with our breasts? No. So we did men. We made our first album in 1971 called "Try It, You'll Like It," and we were blowing the producer up, and it was a male producer up. And we did another album called "Just Kidding." No, that's my album.
Yeah, that's your
album.
album.
The second album was Wonder Women,
right?
And it was great, except we looked like Wonder Women flying through the air. So Wonder Woman, 20th Century Fox did it, and Wonder Woman Comics sued. Because right. So there went that album. A lot of luck. Anyway, so then Fred Silverman discovered us.
This week's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, you know I am a huge advocate for therapy. I talk therapy. I like physical therapy too, but I'm talking about talk therapy. I've been in therapy since I'm 18 years old. There is nothing better. Nothing better. And it is a stressful time. We just had an election. It's the holidays, and we're going to have to spend family time or not spend family time. It's a decision you might make in therapy, because therapy is really the best way, the only way to process your feelings, anxiety, depression, everything. I've been doing it for over 40 years. I know what I'm talking about. So if you've been thinking about starting therapy, if you thought about it for years and just didn't do it, please give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It's suited to your schedule. You go to betterhelp.com/JudyGold. You fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch your therapist at any time for no additional charge. I've done that multiple times in my life, switch therapists. It works. It works. And I know a lot of people who have used BetterHelp, and they love it. So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/JudyGold today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome. When Fred Silverman said to you, oh, just don't tell anyone, there's plenty of gays. Was that really the way people thought then? Like,
yeah,
it was. And so they all knew who. Did you know who was closeted when you were on you're doing TV and you were just
Well, everybody was closeted, but I mean, look at Pauline Liberace.
It's just so sad.
It's just, Kay Ballard.
Right.
She was closeted when she worked here in Provincetown in
Right.
the 80s. I remember she showed me a picture and said, "This is my assistant." I said, "That's not your assistant. That's your girlfriend."
Yeah, she assists you in having an orgasm.
But Kay was very nice to me.
Hopefully.
But anyway, so we had already been working as a feminist comedy team. And he said, "Don't worry, I'm not going to change anything about you. You can be feminist on TV." We were like the Smothers Brothers.
Right, yep.
We get on TV. They make us banana splits. Our first show, we did 4 pilots, and all we're doing is stupid,
right.
what they considered not Laverne and Shirley, but female comedy.
Right, right.
And I liked Laverne and Shirley, but we were doing
same.
this. So Anita Bryant was around at that time.
I love her.
And
she's great. The fucking bitch.
Right.
That pie in the face is the best thing.
You're not.
Anita Bryant wasn't Jewish.
No. That's right. Don't hit that.
I
was gonna
won't.
say, don't even put
she's
careful. It might go up. But I also remember I bought a bunch of Anita Bryant albums and I sent them singing albums. The only people that hated Anita more than gay people were people that understood singing. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious.
Because she was terrible.
Yeah.
In the end, she said years later, she said she was on Valium and her husband made her do it and that he was abusive to her. So the orange juice queen. I remember in those days we were boycotting orange juice because of Anita Bryant. We were boycotting grapes because of Cesar Chavez, and we're the only civil rights movement that was going to die of vitamin C deficiency.
Right. That's funny.
Because everything, boycott everything, eat nothing.
But and her granddaughter is
a lesbian.
Yeah.
You never can tell. So there was Anita Bryant. So now we're on TV, and I do a rally, and I say Anita Bryant is to Christianity what paint by numbers is to art. Right?
Yep.
Which I now can use on Donald Trump too.
Yeah.
So I do this line, and the television's there, and right after Harrison and Tyler, they got us. They needed some stars on the Croft Comedy Hour. Sid and Marty Croft.
Oh yeah.
Right. They did children's shows. They had no one. They were down to us, so they used us. Right. So we were the MCs, and we were on national television. And again, the dancing, they dropped balloons on us so you couldn't see us, that we couldn't dance. But we were the stars of the Sid and Marty Croft show. And right after the show, the television, national television, not local, comes on and says, the same channel, avowed lesbian. You couldn't be a lesbian. You had to swear. I'm a lesbian. I vow it. I'll sign it. I'll sign it. Robin Tyler, star of the Croft Comedy Hour, takes on Anita Bryant. So that was...
Sid and Marty mad?
Huh?
Were Sid and Marty mad?
I never talked to them again. Apparently they ended up... one of them died and they both fought later in life and stuff like that.
And then the other one just died.
Yeah. So,
recently.
I don't know if they were mad, but that was the end of our television career. And
did you ever... I know the answer to this. You never second guessed. It was always like, fuck it. If you're not going to take me for who I am. I don't think most people to this day do not. I mean, we're dealing with it with Israel right now. People are not speaking up.
They're scared. Yeah, they're scared. We'll talk about Israel later. I'll be happy to speak up. But we lost our show. And people said, you could have been stars. All right, maybe we would have been stars for 2 or 3 years. You can be, the television, you could be on for a few years and then you're over and you don't get jobs.
Right.
So you can be stars if you stay in the closet. Say it again, closets are vertical coffins.
Right.
So if you give up your life and you can't, the highest degree of alcoholism was among gay people, not among, that was the highest because
of course
we had the bars and the baseball fields. But when you have to lie all of your life.
Right. And pretend you're not someone you're not.
Yeah, and pretend. So the idea of, we gave up stardom, it was saying to Richard Pryor, if you act white, you can be on television. He lasted 4 shows because he couldn't
Well, yeah, he freaked out in Vegas. He said, I'm not doing this shit.
But even on television.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
You know, Paul Mooney was his writer.
Oh, I loved Paul.
You know, he was gay.
Yeah.
He was
I know.
But he was in the closet. It's interesting. The gay
best.
people that worked at the comedy show that were in the closet, like Paul.
The store, yeah.
They didn't talk to me. They kept away from me.
Because of guilt by association.
I was out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd like to say I
Paul
love
was
Paul,
the best.
but I'll tell you who I worked with that I loved at the Comedy Store. I thought she was very different and would be, but I couldn't figure out how she'd become famous, but I knew it. Sandra Bernhard.
Yes.
Right?
I knew you were going to say that.
She always had that thing,
She has a thing of fuck you, I am who I am,
Yeah.
I am what, yeah. I'm close with her. We're working on a project together. Actually, I'm
good.
talking to her right after we're done. But
Okay. Well, I'm glad I said something nice.
I'll tell her.
So
It's in 19.
No, so we lost our show.
Right.
And maybe we would have been famous. I don't for them, but I don't
Was
care.
your mother seeing this show? Like, did she see it and was like, my daughter
I don't
is
know.
a...
I don't think I talked to my mother much afterward. You know,
Okay.
if anybody gave me problems about who I was, I left. And I did a thing on stage. I used to say,
great.
if your family rejects you, we are your family. Don't look for love where it doesn't exist. We love you. You're okay. You're all right. We love you. Because you know how many kids committed suicide?
Oh, I
because their
know.
mothers, you know, or their so I walked away from my family. They did send me one thing in New York. Patty said she's very cold, so my mother sent me a fox fur coat. Oh yeah, like I'm gonna wear a dead
You're
fox.
gonna like that is so not you.
I gave it to Patty.
Oh, she probably loved it.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah.
I look like a boy in a fox fur coat. Nice. And but I wouldn't wear an animal. And I wear my cat around my neck, but my cat is alive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I put her around my neck, and that's the only time I wear fur. So we lost our television contract, and Harrison and Tyler, as an act, we had pretty much couldn't do anymore because I couldn't remain the kid to Patty's adult.
Right.
So Patty said, talk about being a lesbian. And I said, well, you know, I had no idea. But I started to work out in LA. And the minute I started to talk about it, I got so funny because I was telling the truth.
The truth. Right.
Yeah. It wasn't that I was avoiding. We were always out as lesbians.
It's just that you didn't have any material. That's what people say, why didn't you come out? I had no material about it.
How do you talk about it, right?
Until I had a child. And then I was like, oh.
Then you could, right. So I had started coming out to my mother, and I did all of these, I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of me. I look like I'm in uniform, but it was turquoise with my hand. I looked like a big dyke. Women always wanted that poster. So I printed up 10,000 posters, and I sold them for $10 each.
Nice.
It cost me $1. So I made money. I was so happy.
That's 90 grand.
I was a pinup dyke. Yeah, 90 grand in those days, but it was over years, you know.
But it's just, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. I think I have the picture, but I don't want to look for it.
I'll
now.
look it up and I'll post it. Okay.
All right. Anyway, all right. So I started to do comedy.
Wait, can I just say one more thing
about
when you know, it's so similar to my coming out where I'm coming out as a gay mom and you're coming out as a gay child. So the joke becomes those people can relate to your mother. And that's why that material worked because you're giving both sides and showing the ridiculousness because they already like you on stage.
Right.
And then you say, and I came out to my mother, and they can relate to the mother portion of that.
They can relate to you if you're vulnerable.
Right.
That's the number one. No matter what you're saying, if you're doing it.
Right. And it's true and honest. Yes, I love that.
Bill Barth was not vulnerable.
Right.
But I liked it. Sammy goes with Joey.
Right.
Joey goes with Mary. Also, you know, there's another lesbian performer.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rusty Warren. I had her on a cruise ship. She came on my cruise, and I chartered a couple of cruises like Olivia did, and I was going to do it, but we would have ended up, you know, there was not enough customers for two people to run a line, so I stopped. But I hired Rusty, and I said, Rusty, since you're going on stage and it's a cruise ship, why don't you go ahead and say you're gay? Say it. So for the first time that she was out on stage was on that cruise ship.
What a talent.
Oh my God.
Fucking
and also
brilliant.
Smart. What was smart about Rusty is she owned the rights to her own album. She made a lot of money. She
Good
kept
for
the
her.
Rights.
And that album was so popular.
Yeah.
And yet got no publicity.
Knockers Up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people would come from all, I mean, she would sell out these huge, but couldn't get on TV.
Do you know what it's like? I'm talking to somebody that knows all the history too. Do you know how wonderful this is? Oh God, no.
It's so important.
Yeah,
But it was amazing that she could not get on television. And yet she had a huge fan base. And so, she was amazing.
Great. I forgot to say one thing. When Patty and I were in New York, when we just had met, we heard there was a riot in Greenwich Village. I want to talk about this. And we went down this, not the first night, but the second night. It was even bigger. And we stood and we watched gay people fighting in the street. And it was Stonewall. And I went to go, and Patty says, you can't go because I wasn't a citizen then. And had I been arrested, they would have thrown me out of the country again. So we went back to the apartment and I started to cry. And I said, you know what? I don't care if I get arrested ever again or deported. I'm never going to not fight again. And that night of Stonewall, Robin Tyler was born.
That's what I was going to ask you when you turned into an activist.
I was in Canada. I did the first student strike in Canada because they made girls wear uniforms and not the boys.
Right.
So I always had it in me, this kind of thing. But that was like the explosion was Stonewall. And I said, I will never not fight again. And that was the explosion.
Hey guys, back at the playground again, huh?
Yep. You know what this playground could use? A wine country.
Heck yeah, and some waves so we could go surfing.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, love that.
A redwood forest would be cool.
I'm in.
Ah, ski slopes.
Let's do it.
Can a girl go shopping?
Yeah, baby.
Wait! Did we just invent California?
Discover why California is the ultimate playground at visitcalifornia.com.
In 1978, you came out on national TV.
Yeah.
Comedy special hosted by Phyllis Diller. Icon. I mean,
I said to her,
best.
Phyllis, would you introduce me as a lesbian comic? She said, I can't do that, dear, but I will introduce you as a feminist because we know that all feminists are lesbians.
Oh, my God.
She was Catholic, I think, but she was very nice to me.
She was, I mean.
So she did. She introduced me as a feminist comic, and that was like a big step for her.
Right.
You know?
And she was a concert pianist.
Yes.
And oil painting. She was so fucking talented. And she started stand-up at 37.
Yeah, brilliant. Didn't Bob Hope help her? Wasn't he? Yeah.
So
I ran into Bob Hope at NBC one day, and I literally ran into him, but he was short.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't get over it. He was short. He looked taller, I guess, on stage because of that 6 feet.
And he's Bob Hope, you know?
And he's Bob Hope. But I ran into him, and I was shocked that he was so short, but I was impressed, you know.
That special, when you came out, what kind of...
you mean the Anita Bryant thing?
The Phyllis Diller thing, the comedy special. Which, as we discussed prior, and is in the film that the beautiful Paige Hurwitz directed on Netflix, you were, contrary to other people's beliefs, the first out gay comic on national television.
Yes, I was. And also, Always a Bridesmaid was the first out gay album. There were other albums.
Which is, by the way, I listened to portions of it because I couldn't get the whole thing. Still so relevant today. It's amazing.
Can I send you my album, Just Kidding? Because that was my brilliant album.
Okay.
I did it 40 years ago, and you'll see the material tonight. Or tomorrow. No, but Just Kidding was the best thing it was at the height of my, I had worked out a lot. So Just Kidding.
Yeah, it's just when you're in shape, it's always the best.
Yeah.
So what kind, if any, or were you even aware of any backlash from that appearance.
Well, I didn't think about it because I didn't think about it because I knew felt so good being able to not being able to, I always could, but telling the truth and making it funny. It was like a miracle. In my act, I say then a miracle happened, but that's when I met women and slept with them. There were little miracles. I had a lot of miracles in my life after Patty and I split up. All right. What did you ask me? Oh,
No. Did you have
the
any
minute I thought of
backlash?
sex, I totally lost everything.
Oh,
didn't I?
that's cute.
Yeah, but it's over.
No, it's not over.
82. Trust me, you're just happy if you have a bowel movement that day. That's your highlight of your day.
That's exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah.
No, did you receive any backlash I'm talking about in the show business industry?
No, because by then Patty and I they knew I was a lesbian because of
But
doing
were
the
there
Anita
things
Bryant.
that you?
We weren't in establishment anymore. But what happened was I got all the colleges. Nobody was out.
Right.
There wasn't Meg, Margie, Holly, and Chris.
Yeah.
The quartet of lesbian singers. But nobody was out. So all of a sudden, I got the college circuit, and I remember Harry Walker used to book Patty and I the lecture circuit. And his son,
I don't know if he's
not Harry,
Jewish.
but his son.
Yeah.
So I just got the college circuit, and since I was the only out comic, I made a fortune. I made a lot of money.
Was there ever any protests or any kind of
No
backlash at the colleges?
No, they loved it.
Yeah, it's not like you were doing Brigham Young University, but
I did.
No,
I did. I did Brigham. Actually, Patty and I did Brigham Young. It didn't go very well, but but they gave us like milk and cookies anyway.
Right.
I remember we played Oregon, and Oregon, were the University of Football players, and we played a stadium, and we were booked with a country western singer, famous. So the whole audience was, country western, and Patty and I had a line about, would everybody say fuck? And they said, we'll all say it if you get off the stage.
No.
And they all yelled, fuck, 8,000 people. And William Morris had to get us to a plane and get us out of Oregon.
Way.
Yeah. When we did a thing in the Troubadour, and it was our album Wonder Women.
Yes.
The waiter came to stab us on stage. And no, they got him first. But I mean, it was hard to do comedy after that.
I know, after someone's going to stab.
And when we were playing in New Zealand, because we were organizing women, it's the early 70s, we were organizing women, and one of the women, Sue Ketchley, became the representative to the United Nations, but the promoter hated us. So we were in the hotel, and he had a gun, and he said, I'm going to kill you. And Patty says, go ahead and shoot. And I tackled Patty, and he shot, and it would have gone
No
right.
way.
I swear to God. So it's not all roses.
That is crazy.
So my friend Sandra once said to me, she said, Robin, not everybody get death threats. And I had never thought about it, but I just assumed it was part of show business.
Right. But did you develop a fear of performing?
Never. No. We were aggressive. Aggressive means, they always wanted women to be assertive, right?
Yeah.
Aggression means taking power over others.
Right.
Comedy is the most aggressive medium there is.
100%.
The only way women were allowed to be aggressive in comedy, like Joan Rivers, who brilliant, I love, she was so sweet to us.
Yeah.
Joan Rivers and Phil, is if they turned that aggression on themselves.
Right. It
And-
had to be self-deprecating. It was sort of like they had to do a disclaimer
Right.
at the very beginning of their act, like, "Oh, I know, I'm a woman. Oh my
Right.
God, blah blah blah."
But also
and then
all
they go in for
Joan
the kill.
Rivers wasn't ugly.
No.
In the beginning, she did, I this or that, or Phyllis Diller needing fang.
Right.
But they had to turn the aggression on themselves.
Yep.
And so
They had to be a victim.
with Patty and I, we made women the subject of humor, not the object
Right.
of humor. And we turned that aggression outwards. And every joke they had ever done on a woman, we did on a man. Take my husband, please.
Right.
He sits around the house. My father-in-law jokes. And do you know what? Men didn't have a sense of humor. They called it
Oh, no.
anti-male. When a man does a joke on a woman, it's called funny. When a woman does a joke on a man, it's called anti-male, right?
Right.
So Ms. Magazine reviewed our first album and said it was the worst thing in the world. Our first album, just kidding, because we had made fun of men. This is Ms. Magazine. But Newsweek called us brilliant. So Ms. was straight women trying to still get along with men, right?
And you know what? Those women are Trump voters. Go ahead.
No.
They're the white women Trump voters. Yes, they are.
I know the Ms. women. I know.
Not the Ms. women.
Oh.
The women who were against your thing.
Yes,
No. The Ms. women are great.
But in Ms., they were so afraid of being called anti-male as feminists that they gave us a bad review. But Newsweek gave us a good review, so it balanced it.
Thank you so much for listening to part 2 of my interview with Robin Tyler, icon. Look her up. Look up, Google her and look at her old performances. She's really, really did, and part 3 is so fascinating too. She did a lot for our community. So I hope you enjoyed part 2. It's Judy's Show with Judy Gold is produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling, and marketed by Haley Dircher. And theme song, the beautiful theme song by Lauren Gold. And as you know, or may or may, and it was so nice in Israel, people telling me they listened to the end of my podcast. I was so excited. People telling me that they listened to my podcast. How fucking great is that? In Israel. Yes, my date, please listen. Please subscribe and leave a review. Please subscribe and leave a review. Please. It just helps me. It helps me. It helps the podcast. Okay, so that's that. Subscribe and leave a review. Go to my website, judygold.com. Follow me on Instagram at JudyGold, JEWDY, and every other fucking thing. And you can see my dates and not have to write to me and say, oh my God, you were in. I forgot to mention, I do have the Israel Cancer Research Fund tonight, but on Saturday, I am at the Chappaqua Performing Arts Center in Mount Kisco, New York, at 8 o'clock, Chappaqua Performing Arts Center in Mount Kisco. Then daylight savings time ends and I get really depressed. And then I'm in Chicago on November 8, 9, 10 at the Big Gay Cabaret. So if you're in the Chappaqua area, get your fucking ass to that show. It's going to be a great show. Poughkeepsie on the 16th. My phone is ringing. I don't know why, but whatever. Thank you so much for calling. Oh my God. I said calling because my phone went off. And you know who it is? It's my dermatologist who has fucking moved my appointment 450 times. Okay? Go to your derm. Go to all your doctor's appointments. I'm very healthy. I just did a checkup and now I got to do other little shits, big shits like mammograms and, sonograms and whatever grams and Graham Norton and Graham. So, big shout out to my friend Howard Rosenstein, who was getting his hair cut and called me and said, I'm in the neighborhood. And we just had the best fucking time. And those are the best times of life. So I had the best weekend. My kids came over and I got to see my best friend since I'm 17, Howard. And we just had the best time. Old friends are the best. Anyway. Okay, that's it. I don't know what to tell you. My challah was delicious this week, and I love you. Please go vote. Please vote. Please, please vote. Please vote. I don't know how many times I can say it. Your vote counts, especially down ballot. If you're in New York, vote yes to Prop 1 so the gays can live with, without humiliation. And as I always say, and we always say, and everyone always says, so long, ga 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 ga.